I think the thing that landed me with in TFI is very related to the vision that I have to for my kids. I had a very value-rich education. So not only like academics was stressed on, not only did I have opportunities, but I knew how to choose for myself, how to think what is right and wrong, and be brave enough to approach the right thing. And because of that, I think it was a very simple vision that I have for all kids, like all around the world, and I have the same vision for my kids, that they will grow up to be change makers, that no matter where they are, they're changing positively their lives, they're changing positively their family, the community, and the world. How could I achieve this when it's very difficult? I met them when they were 8, 9, 10, like that age, so a lot of learning has already happened, plus so much learning is going on informally at home. So how do I challenge that? So the best way I thought is through my lessons, that I made sure each lesson was stressing on values. And I had used a lot of experiential learning. In the first year, I used project-based learning. My class teams were divided into the four castes, and one team were non-Hindus. And for 1 week, they were to be those castes, like some were Shudras, and I made sure the kids who performed really well and were always high-flying and all that, they were the Shudras, and then there were the Brahmins, and then there were the non-Hindus. So, and for 1 week, and because like somehow towards the end I really got my kids invested in everything I did, so they were really serious about the game, so about the experience. So they really followed the rules, and I told them like the Kshatriyas and the Brahmins can be the bosses for a week. So I remember once the Kshatriyas came without doing their homework, so I said, where's your homework? So the Brahmins said, Didi, we've forgiven them, they can sit in class without the homework. But I let them allow that, let the others experience. And the reflections that come out of these experiences are extremely strong, and really puts kids through an experience that how does it feel to be there or here, and why are people reacting like that. So those memories of those lessons, I think, remain with a child. And I remember these reflection kids writing and like, Didi, I think you should extend it for another week, because not only few kids should feel like what it feels like to be a low caste. However, the context that they came from was very difficult for me. Like even if I have to drive a lesson, any part of it, like initially I just thought my kids were like just distracted. I thought all of them had ADHD, and like they were looking out of the window, and I'd lose my cool. But it happened like, one thing I brought personally on the table was vulnerability. Like I was very vulnerable, and I think because of that, one day this magical lesson happened where I opened up, and so 34 kids were present in class. Out of that 34 kids, I think 18 of them opened up to me about incidents of child sexual abuse. I was shivering in class. I was like not sure what to do with all this information, but I was also glad that not only were they trusting me, they were trusting that class. Like they were able to talk about it, even if in a very hush-hush manner in front of their friends. So like that really pushed me to like believe like, no matter how much I'm going to push academics, if I really don't get them to deal with their daily lives about what's happening back at home, it's just not going to work. I came from a broken home. I know what it feels like, what are the fears that children deal with, how far it affects you in life. So I had that context, but I also had a great side. Like I was in a boarding school where I had this awesome friends, and they're still my first family. That helped me go through all that in life. That helped me excel. So like with a lot of conversations with the kids, I told them like, why can't we build class as a family where, fine, you have your issues, we all have our problems, but when you come here, like for some time we can forget about it. And we can talk about it. When I was able to do that, and they started talking about this in their homes, so I think a lot of this got relaxed, and I was able to concentrate on the other things, on their growth, on their RC levels, on their math, which was atrocious. So I was able to do that. So that is an ongoing process, and we have come really far. The examples of would be like someone like Neetu K. Like she was such a frightened kid when I came, and I'll tell you, it's a direct relation of things at home. It might not happen for every single kid, but one day you see that spark in one kid and you push them, and they turn out to be magic. Like Neetu K is one of those examples. Like she's like, I am inspired by her, because once I remember like the power to share such things like that. I remember one SNL lesson, I said, okay, today we are just going to share about one thing that we never talk about to anybody. And she shared something like, she said, when I was born, they couldn't kill me before I was born, like they do to many other girls. But when I was born, they thought that I could probably naturally die if I wasn't fed. So my mother was not allowed to feed me. So every time my mother fed me, she would not get food. So obviously she's heard these stories from her mother, and I think like, she broke down, and so many of her friends broke down with her. But just that culture to like to be able to come out, to be brave, to share that, like had she kept all this like for another 12 years, like I'm just thinking what kind of impact it might have had on her. There's so much I want to change, there's so much that's beautiful, there's so much that could be more beautiful, and I really want to be part of that change. And I was looking here and there where I can feel important, but seriously, these 2 years where I know that these kids are going to go with these ideas that they've built here, with these values, and tomorrow when an Akash grows up or an Aman grows up, he's going to be an equal partner. They're going to like, they're going to have these values in them, and 10 years down the line, they're going to make a different India. Like I think, like I have caught them young, and I feel really important. I feel like a true nation builder, and I think in that way, like trying to create change, try to create a more just society through educating little minds, I think it's coming alive.